Excellent presentation. I'm from Intel. So one of the things that we want to do today is to learn from experienced company about innovation, what is new in the blockchain area, not only to listen that hackers are asking for bitcoins after some ransomware attack somewhere in the world. We think that cryptocurrency is going to change the world. Already we are hearing that different governments around the world would like to have their own cryptocurrency. What does that mean? What type of regulation is needed to accept this? How this thing going to influence our life? All of these things we don't know yet. We want and expect that the next speakers will also address those points, and later we have the panel. So let me please introduce you the next speaker. So I'm going to call now Hagai Zahor. Where is Hagai? So Hagai Zahor is the Innovation and Strategy Consulting at Deloitte at Israel. He is responsible for the cooperation with the academia and innovation practice at Deloitte. So Hagai, come.
Thank you very much, Jacob. As Jacob mentioned, my name is Hagai, and I'm an innovation consultant in Deloitte, Israel. I will try to answer some of the questions that Jacob have just mentioned in terms of the industry or about some implications of regulations and some other things. So I'm personally working in the blockchain industry for the past 2 years, and there's a huge development in terms of blockchain applications all over the world and specifically here in Israel. For matter of fact, 2 years ago, we stood at a small hall in Google with around 100 people that came to see what is this blockchain. And today, there are over 700 people that have gathered to hear what are some key features with the blockchain platforms and with this technology. So Deloitte had conducted a survey that concluded more than 300 managers and CEOs in the industry, and had some interesting results and interesting answers for organizations who are considering implementation of blockchain into their core system. Actually, when we look at blockchain from consultancy point of view, from Deloitte point of view, there are 6 or even 7 domains which organizations need to focus on and answer some of these questions on these domains. Of course, there are some consortium questions that organizations need to answer. There is talent questions. There's a lot of demand for talents today in the blockchain domains. There are also some technological questions. Which platform is better for which use case? Of course, there are cybersecurity implications that Rick have just mentioned. Blockchain holds opportunities for cyber attack, but also opportunities for cybersecurity. Operational consideration, compliance consideration, and at the end of the day, each organization would like the blockchain to have good business impact on his organization. So I'm going to cover 3 of those domains today, and I would like to start with the talent. So at the survey that we've conducted, 49% out of the CEO have declared that they're going to recruit blockchain specialists in the near future. It's more than 150 companies that has their annual revenue are higher than $500 million. Today, there are around 5,000 or even 6,000 blockchain developers. And blockchain specialists, there is no phrase for what is blockchain specialist. It varies from 2 days of designated training on C++ and Python, but there is also a cryptography degree today in Cyprus, which is 3 years of cryptocurrency studies. In Israel, there's a lot of potential for blockchain talent. We've published a report, Deloitte Israel, 1.5 years ago that examining the blockchain industry in Israel. And we've gathered and we've found out that because of the security industry and because of the army, there's a lot of cryptographers in the industry that with a designated training can solve some of the cryptocurrency issue for the blockchain technology. What about operational consideration? So in the survey, we find out that 40% of the organization would like to embed blockchain platform into the core system in the next year or two. Of course, it will start from POC, but at the end of the day, it's going to replace some of the existing platform in the organizations. There are major questions that an organization should ask itself. I mean, if it's for consortium or if it's for single organization, who is going to manage the blockchain platform? Is it the organization itself, or is it a third party that is going to maintain the system and to provide services to all the different layers? Of course, there's the blockchain platform, but there are also the application level, the development level, the APIs. Is it a third party who's going to maintain this mechanism? And what about business impact? So of course, there are plenty of good use cases for blockchain. We all heard about peer-to-peer payments, digital voting, smart identity, trade finance, but there are also use cases which are not applicable for blockchain. Although many people are saying that blockchain is suitable for solve world hunger or so, right? But at the end of the day, blockchain is a database that can solve few problems, but not all of them. We need to remember it. Of course, there are accounting and tax implications. Imagine yourself a consortium with an organization from Israel, from the UK, and from the US. The Israeli organization has transferred an asset to the UK organization, and the American organization has charged the Israeli organization. Who is going to pay the tax? Who is the key decision maker? Is it an income tax or a transfers tax that is going to be charged with the organization? And of course, there are some risk factors that organizations need to consider. I mean, there are the traditional risks like the strategic, the security, but there are also value transfer risk and smart contract risk. We all seen the DAO attack about a year ago, and we all know that smart contracts are prone for cyber attack. At Deloitte, we've published a point of view a few months ago regarding blockchain and cybersecurity. We divided it into 3 sections: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Of course, in order to operate blockchain platform, you need to secure the blockchain from the app layer, because most blockchain, user can be exposed with the data. He cannot change the data, but he can be exposed to the data after penetrating the first layer. Therefore, you need to secure the first layer, the application level. As I mentioned, blockchain holds also opportunities for cyber security. What means by leveraging encryptions and PKI, you can maintain the blockchain platform even better. In terms of integrity, so as I mentioned, smart contracts are prone to attack, but also consensus model provides organization with a further level of assurance because the majority of nodes need to approve a transaction. 51% in most blockchain need to approve a transaction, therefore it contributes to the assurance. In terms of availability, so think about DDoS attack for the Bitcoin blockchain, for example. DDoS attack for a few wallets over the network at the same time that gives commands of wiring digital Bitcoin from point to point. Of course, it will not shut the Bitcoin blockchain, but it will influence the Bitcoin. There are lack of regulation implications that Jacob have mentioned, but in most blockchain, they have no single point of failure, what can contribute a lot to the blockchain platform and to organizations. So we at Deloitte have done plenty of projects and POCs in the recent 3 or 4 years. Some of them I would like to share with you that have combined the 4 layers that I just mentioned. First one is the U-Vote. It's a voting system, blockchain-based voting system actually. We've found out in the US, for example, the American taxpayer paid more than $800 million for the last election in the US. It's manually, you need to count the vote manually. There are non-equal votes because of the electoral with blockchain-based voting system, of course, you can count the votes automatically because of the digital technology. And you can also have few kinds of counting in terms of weighted counting, for example, proxy voting for shareholders or electorate in the US, also equal voting like in Israel, like parliamentary elections. The EduChain in Ireland for Financial Services Institute, in order to provide financial services to their clients, their employee need to have a few certifications and few qualifications in order to provide these kind of solutions. Now, the regulator always check if these employees has the relevant certifications, and of course, the managers of the financial institute also need to make sure that their employees have the relevant certifications. Therefore, we've developed a platform that the front-end solution includes an app that each employee has that includes his qualification, his degrees, his PhD, or whatever necessary, but the regulator and the manager can make sure that this employee and this service provider has the relevant certification, and the organization can solve his client's problems. Know your client, there are plenty of know your client use cases. At the end of the day, mortgage loaner, for example, need to provide several certification and bank account, a regulation account, a relative that signed on this mortgage. Using the blockchain system, the certification can become digital, and at the end of the day, financial institute can sell the data to another financial institute, what will decrease the cost of the financial service provider and the other financial decrester, and will decrease the frustration of the mortgage loaner. There are plenty of supply chains solutions. One of them is the art tractive, when you can track and trace luxury art with the blockchain. With an IoT piece, you can track an art piece, and you can also make sure that a kosher money has been wired for this luxury art, anti-money laundering mechanism, of course, which is on the blockchain. Last but not least is the reinsurance solution that insurers can sell portions of risks for the insurance contract based on a smart contract mechanism to other insurers. This is a use case that we're working on right now, and it's going to be really interesting. So if it's not enough, and as Rick had mentioned, we are now working on reports, Deloitte and Intel, that's going to spread some light on when is blockchain the right answer. I mean, as I mentioned, there are use cases which are really, really good for blockchain, but there are also use cases which are not applicable for blockchain. How to get started? Which blockchain platform is the best for you to use for specific use cases? And of course, not all blockchain are created equal. I mean, there are specific blockchain platforms which are relevant for specific use case and vice versa. So stay tuned to this report. We are going to tell you a bit more later on today. And of course, if any of you have any further question or would like to discuss some of the use cases which I just mentioned, you're more than welcome to approach me after the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hagai.